Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the historic Frost Arena. Today will be the last ever men's basketball game played in this facility. Such an incredible run of over 52 seasons of Jackrabbit men's basketball being played here. Going on the court is the senior day processions. We'll go ahead and tune into that before we get this, before we set things up underway.
After a redshirt season a year ago, Luke has become a mainstay of the Jackrabbit lineup this season. Luke has been the starter in every game this campaign and has been saving his best for last, averaging 12.1 points and 4.5 rebounds per game during conference play, including a 25-point game versus Oral Roberts. Luke is accompanied by his parents, Jerry and Donna, and family. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Apple! Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Easley joined the Jackrabbits in 2020 and has been a standout upon arriving on campus. The Jackrabbit guard has played in over 100 games and started in over 70 in his time in yellow and blue. Another player in the program saving his best for last, Charlie is averaging career high in points, rebounds, assists, free throw percentage, and minutes during the senior campaign. Beyond the offensive stats, Charlie has done it on the defense end over the years, and this season ranks among the top 10 individuals in the nation in steals, setting his career best of 6 at Kansas State this season. Charlie is accompanied by his parents, Ed and Tiffany, and his siblings, Jack, Sam, Thomas, and Emma, as well as other extended family members. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Easley! Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Mims has been part of the multiple Summer League championship teams. His role has increased year by year, which included his impact a season ago that saw him play 32 minutes per game and earn Summer League All-Defensive Team accolades. Despite a foot injury to begin the season, Matt returned to the lineup and hasn't missed a beat. He's played over 30 minutes per contest, has 3 double-digit scoring performances, and most recently produced a career-high 21-point game on Thursday. Matt is on his way to joining the Jackrabbits' all-time top 10 list in games played and is nearly on the top 10 in three-point field goal percentage. Matt is accompanied by his parents, Mike and Michelle, as well as his brother, Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Mims!
So,
one more time, ladies and gentlemen, a big hand.
with it being senior day today, Charlie Easley, Matt Mims, and Luke Apple being honored here in Frost Arena, just ahead of the final ever men's basketball game to take place at this facility. Of course, the transition into First Bank and Trust Arena beginning next season. So the name Frost Arena will go away. The building itself is going to remain, but a lot of changes happening with that. Well, the Jackrabbits coming into this game against St. Thomas after dominating the Denver Pioneers 90-70 on Thursday, and that put them back atop the Summit League standings, again tied with UND. In that game, it was the largest win over a Division I opponent this season for the Jackrabbits, as well as Denver's worst loss against a Division I opponent. SDSU has now won 9 straight at home against the Pioneers, and as I mentioned, have put themselves even with UND in the Summit League standings as we sit currently. Now, there is a caveat to that, because right now at the end of the first half at halftime, it is 33-33 between North Dakota and North Dakota State playing up in Fargo today. Depending on the outcome of that, could determine a lot. As you know, this is the third to last game of the season as we ramp up here to the Summit League tournament. The St. Thomas Tommies coming into this one after a 64-50 loss to NDSU on Thursday. They dropped to 7-6 in conference play. The Tommies opened up a game on a 10-0 run before NDSU battled back before a halftime lead and an eventual game-high 18-point lead in the second half. St. Thomas shot 36.5% from the field and 24% from long range in the 64-50 loss to the Bison. That brings them in here today 7-6, currently around the middle of the pack. They're in third place. However, there is currently a 3-way tie for third place, so by technicality, 3 through 5 are all in third place. So to go over the Summit League standings real quick here, South Dakota State and North Dakota on top at 9-4 in league play. St. Thomas, North Dakota State, and Kansas City all in third place, 2 games behind first place at 7-6. Then we have Omaha at 7-7, Denver at 6-8, Oral Roberts at 5-9, and South Dakota trailing the back 3-10. They're 6 games behind first place. So looking at this matchup, this is the 22nd meeting between the Tommies and the Jackrabbits. A couple of meetings ago, St. Thomas broke an 8-game winning streak, an 8-game losing streak to South Dakota State by earning a 60-54 win during the 2022-23 season. The Jackrabbits are 9-2 at home. The thing is, this series dates back to the mid-1900s. The last loss to St. Thomas in Brookings was in December of 1954. In the previous matchup, Zeke Mayo hit a game-winning jumper with seconds left to propel SDSU to an 81-80 win over St. Thomas on January 11th. SDSU trailed 79-74 with a minute 33 seconds left, but Mayo's 25 points led the Jacks to a victory. South Dakota State sitting at 9-4, St. Thomas sitting at 7-6. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups for both teams here, starting off with St. Thomas, who is one of only 17 teams in the country that has 2 or fewer starting lineups this year, and that's all because one player missed 1 game. Otherwise, they would have had the same starting lineup all season. For the Tommies, the 6'6 sophomore guard from Woodbury, Minnesota. He had 8 points against NDSU number 1, Kendall Blue. A 6'7 freshman forward from Shakopee, Minnesota. He had 3 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block against NDSU number 4, Brooks Allen. A 6'6 graduate forward from Chaska, Minnesota. He leads the team in points per game and rebounds per game, and he reached 1,000 points on December 6th in a win against Sacramento State, becoming the first Tommy to reach 1,000 points in Division I against UND. Number 5, Parker Bjorklund. A 6'2 senior guard from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. He leads the team in free throw percentage, shooting about 88.9%. A transfer from Liberty, number 11, Drake Dobbs. And a 6'4" graduate guard from Chicago, Illinois. He leads the team with 3.1 assists per game, 46% three-point shooting. A transfer from St. Mary's in Minnesota, Winona to be exact. He eclipsed 1,500 career points on December 6th, 2023 in a 75-51 win over Milwaukee. Number 24, Raheem Anthony. The Tommies are coached by Johnny Tower in his 13th season as the head coach of the Toms, compiling a 264-95 record. He's a graduate of St. Thomas in 1995 and has been with STU since 2000. He is also the longest tenured coach in the Summit League. We're going to go ahead and step aside while we have the national anthem here in Frost Arena, and when we come back, we will have the starting lineups for South Dakota State and get you geared up for this one. The final men's basketball game happening in Frost Arena as we transition into First Bank and Trust Arena next season. You're listening to Jackrabbit Men's Basketball on KSDJ.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners. Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh.
Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
The 9-4 South Dakota State Jackrabbits are currently tied atop the Summit League with the University of North Dakota. Just 3 games remaining, including this one against St. Thomas, who sits in third at 7-6. A key Summit League matchup, and I think we can say that for the rest of the way to the tournament here today. Hello, friends. Braden Byers here, sports director for KSDJ 90.7, and welcome into Frost Arena for the final ever men's basketball game to happen in this facility. As I mentioned in the pregame, 52 seasons inside this facility. It's seen over 2.3 million fans attend men's basketball games, and many events, many memories, many standout players in this facility. And here today, the last men's basketball event happening. I already went over the St. Thomas starters. We'll quickly run through them again. A 6'6 sophomore guard, number 1 Kendall Blue, a 6'6 forward. Number 4 Brooks Allen, a 6'6 forward as well. Number 5 Parker Bjorklund, a 6'2 guard. Number 11 Drake Dobbs, and a 6'4 guard, number 24 Raheem Anthony. And the Tommies are coached by Johnny Tower, the longest tenured head coach in the Summit League. Of course, him going back to the Division III days with St. Thomas, who is in their transition. Now for South Dakota State, the same starting lineup that they've rolled out in a majority of their games, featuring 3 seniors, the only 3 seniors on this Jackrabbit squad. A 6-foot senior guard from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He leads the team in 3-point shooting at 43%. Had a career-high 21 points, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, and 2 steals in 28 minutes against Denver on Thursday. Number 1, Matt Mims. A 6'4 junior guard from Lawrence, Kansas, 18.9 points per game, 3.7 assists per game. He wears number 2, Zeke Mayo. A 6'8 redshirt senior forward from Marshalltown, Iowa. He started all 28 games this season, a true Ironman for this Jackrabbit squad. Number 13, Luke Apple. A 6'2 senior guard from Lincoln, Nebraska. He's played 5 years. He's been with the Jackrabbits for 4 of them, a transfer from the University of Nebraska. He had 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal versus Denver on Thursday. Oh, and he also leads the team with 88.7% free throw shooting. Number 30, Charlie Easley. And a 6'9 sophomore forward from Bellevue, Nebraska. Leads the team in rebounds per game and leads the team in field goal shooting at 62.9%. He had 12 points and, most importantly, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 3 blocks, and 1 steal. Oh, and about 3 to 4 dunks against Denver. Number 42, William Kyle III. As always, Jackrabbits coached by headman Eric Henderson in his 5th season as head coach at SDSU, compiling a 103-47 record, a graduate of Wayne State in Nebraska in 2000. He's been with SDSU since 2016, and he just won his 100th game on February 4th against in-state rival USD. So once again for the Jackrabbits, Mims, Mayo, Apple, Easley, Kyle III. For the Tommies, Blue, Allen, Bjorklund, Dobbs, and Anthony. It's a packed house here today, the final men's basketball game to take place in Frost Arena, and we're glad that you're along with us here on KSDJ. The lights are on now. The cheer team and dance team will be going to their respective sidelines as the teams break their huddles. The Tommies already out in their away purple uniforms, purple jerseys, purple shorts with silver/gray trimming, white numerals on the front and back in St. Thomas, and a cursive script across the front. The Jackrabbits have that same cursive script, although it says Jackrabbits across the front in their home white uniforms. Yellow and blue trim down the side, blue numerals on the front and back, as well as blue nameplates on the top of the back. William Kyle III and Parker Bjorklund will jump it up here in the final men's basketball game to take place at Frost Arena. And the tap is up, controlled by the Jackrabbits, and Mayo will bounce it forward. He has Dobbs on him, bounces it over to Mims on the left inside the arc. over to Apple. Now he sends it backwards up to Easley, standing at the point, over to Mims on the left side again. He dribbles, have a little bit of his zone double team there, hands it off to Easley inside the arc now on the left wing. Backs himself outside, past the line, dribbling with the basketball. Shot clock at 6. He's spinning around in the lane. He got stuck. He bounces it to Mims, puts it off the glass. Got a little bit of contact underneath. No whistle, however, and the Jackrabbits get the first points of this game. They lead it 2-0, just under a minute into the first half. Now St. Thomas has it here. Bjorklund gets it over to Blue on the left side. Now Anthony has it up top. He's standing on the right side. Dumps it off to Bjorklund, standing at the top. He hands it off to Dobbs. The shot clock under 10 at 8 seconds now. Driving down the lane. He bounces it to Anthony on the baseline, and guarded by Kyle III. The ball gets swatted out of the air by Easley. The shot clock goes off, and it's going to be a shot clock violation on St. Thomas. 2-0 Jackrabbit lead, just under 19 minutes left to play in the first half. Easley in the backcourt, one of the seniors that was honored today prior to the game. Apple, another senior that was honored today as well, gets it inside the arc. He dumps it off to Mims, the third senior for this Jackrabbit squad. A bounce pass inside the lane to Zeke Mayo, who turns around and puts it off on the left side. A 4-0 lead for the Jackrabbits. Keep in mind now the Jackrabbits got off to a hot start on Thursday, a 14-0 start against Denver, and the nation's leading scorer, Tommy Bruner. Now on the right side, Kendall Blue drove in on the baseline, puts up a floater, and he knocks it down for 2. 4-2 now, 18-15 left to go in the first period. Mims bounces in inside to Kyle III, inside the lane to Apple, back to Kyle III, spinning around in the wing. He hands it off to Mims on the right side, Easley at the point, and now Mayo on the left side. Again, the Tommies running a little bit of a zone. They try to double team their star, the Jackrabbit stars, as much as they can. Inside the lane, a spin around, fade away by Mayo. That's good for 2. 6-2 lead for SDSU here in the final home game of this year. As going coast to coast is Brooks Allen. He's not able to get it to go. Now the rebound falls down to Apple, working on the left side. Now he'll stop, looks to dump it off to Mims. He does. Bjorklund was all over him, though. Mims, cross-court pass to Easley, who slowly dribbles it up to the arc. A semi-screen sent by Apple. Not able to get it to go. He dumps it off to Apple, Mims, and now Mayo standing on the left side. Shot clock down to 10. Dribbling inside the lane now, kicks it out right side, baseline 3 from Easley. He knocks that one down to give the Jackrabbits a 9-2 lead. Now on the other end, Anthony inside the arc. He dumps it off to Dobbs on the left. Now down to Bjorklund in the left block by Kyle III. Spinning around, not able to get past Kyle III. A fade away. That misses the basket, and it's brought down by Mims. Into the front court now. Bouncing, dribbling with the basketball, handoff to Easley, over to Apple, now up top to Mayo. Driving inside, tried to bounce it over to Apple. He still somehow comes up with it on the left block. Can't get anything going down low, so he sends it back up to Mayo, who gives it over to Mims on the right. He's stuck. Now he dumps it off to Apple on the left side, loses it. And it's going to be picked up by Allen. Allen dumps it off to Anthony, who tries to drive on the left side on Easley. Bounces with the left hand, spinning inside the lane, puts it off the board, and down for 2 more, 9-4. The Jackrabbits lead it 4 minutes into this one. Now Easley inside the arc, brings it to the left side to Mayo. Cutting inside, spinning at the free throw line, and they'll call a travel on him. Bill Jacobson, one of our 3 referees today, Chad Barlow, Bill Jacobson, and Steve Hanakai. Timeout on the floor, 15:50 left to go in the first half. 9-4 is the score. We'll go ahead and take a break with them. You're listening to Jackrabbit Basketball on KSDJ.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Hey, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed
Don't you
to.
wish your life
Or hit
could
rewind app like that.
Stop.
Down that
dog
wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Back here in Brookings, a 9-4 lead for South Dakota State over St. Thomas. Glad to have you along with us here on KSDJ. Ben Now in there for St. Thomas, has it on the left side. He gives it up to Dobbs on the right. Now over to Now on the left. Bounces it to Bjorklund, gives it up top to Dobbs. 5-4 on the shot clock. 3 inside the lane is Dobbs. He puts up the shot. It doesn't go, but it hit the rim and gets hit back out. St. Thomas gets the offensive rebound. Now driving down the lane is Dobbs with a little maneuver. Just laid it in with the left hand. A 9-6 score with just over 15 minutes left to go in the first half. Easily standing on the right, gives it over to Gary on the left, inside the left wing now. The free throw line expended now over at the free throw line. He spins around, dumps it off to Kyle. The third kick out to Moores for 3. 12-6, the Jacks are doubling up the Tommies here. 14:40 left to go in this first half. Anthony hands it off to Now, up top to Bjerke. Carter Bjerke, a redshirt freshman forward from Plymouth, Minnesota. Anthony dribbling with it at the point. It goes inside the arc, kick out to Bjorklund, now Dobbs. Dobbs stops over to Anthony on the right side, standing on the Jackrabbit script on the far sideline. Bounces inside the lane, lost the basketball, recollects, kicks out to Dobbs right at the shot clock expires, and it'll be knocked out of bounds.
Substitution number 13.
St. Thomas is playing deep into the shot clock here so far. The shot clock's gone off about 3 times. Only one of them has been a shot clock violation. But the other 2 times they're playing right up to the edge, and I mean sometimes you got to walk up to the line to know where the line is. Anthony now on the left, bounces it to Ajani Lee. Now Anthony inside the arc, over to Dobbs on the right for 3, hits the back iron, and carom falls down to Mayo. Dribble up past the timeline now. Gary up top, loses the basketball, picked up by Anthony. It's a one-on-one situation. Moores at the basket. Anthony misses it, so does Lee. Now back the other way. The Jackrabbits have a personnel advantage, and they don't take a shot on it. Gary standing on the right baseline. He's getting smothered. Now he'll bounce it to Mayo near the half-court circle. Now at the point, step back. As he faked a drive, that hits the back iron and falls down to Anthony. 12-6 still, 13-13 left to go in the first half. As Bjerke's shot bounces on the front of the rim and bounces out. The Jackrabbits have the ball once again. Mims over to Mayo, now inside the arc, down to Kyle the third, working on the left block. Now kick out Moores on the left for 3. That almost went in. He had a 3 just a couple of moments ago. That one not as lucky. Still 12-6 as Now bounces it and gives it to Anthony on the left side. Bouncing with the right dribble in between his legs now. Up to Dobbs, and now inside to Lee. Johnny Lee bouncing on the right block with Moores. He spins around and puts it down the hoop for 2. 12-8, a long pass into Kyle. The third goes awry and right into the arms of Raheem Anthony. Outlets it to Now on the left side. Now to Bjerke. Pulls up for 3, the big man, and he knocks it down. And just like that, they're back within 1, 12-11 here, and the Jackrabbits have not scored in about 2.5 minutes. Moores with the basketball, sends it over to Mims. Now he tries to drive on the right side, tried to put it up, a lot of contact coming from Now. A foul gonna be called on Now. It's gonna be his first, actually the first foul called of this game, and there's gonna be a timeout on the floor. Substitutions coming in after this one. 12-11, just under 12 minutes left to play in the first, and you're listening to Jackrabbit men's basketball on KSDJ.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Just texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
12-11, just under 12 minutes left to go. A couple of substitutions coming in. It is worth noting Ben Now is over on the bench. Looks like he's in a bit of pain. And I do believe that one Brooks Allen has come in for him. So he's still over on the bench. He's trying to walk it off a little bit over there. We'll let you know when he comes back in. But Matt Mims going to be standing at the line. And he makes the first one on that one. The foul was on Now as well. The junior from Brookfield, Wisconsin, now currently out of the game. And the second one from Mims is good. One of the 3 seniors honored here today on Senior Day. 14-11, the Jackrabbit lead. 11:50 on the clock in the first. Now into the front court is Ryan Default, the junior from Waseca, Minnesota. Finds its way to Bjerke, and now Bjorklund. Back over to Allens at the top. Now down to Blue on the right side. Bjorklund inside the right wing, backing down on Apple. Spins around on the baseline, too hard off the glass, but a whistle and a foul coming. And that's going to be on Apple, his first and the team's first. Only 2 fouls so far in this game, and we're about a minute and a half away from the halfway point of this first half. Bjorklund is going to stand at the line, and while he doesn't lead the team in free throw percentage, he shoots it pretty well, 70% around. It bounced off of the back of the iron and bounced right into the hoop. Interestingly enough, he didn't have a free throw attempt in the game against NDSU on Thursday. And the shot is up and good, so he's 2 for 2 so far today. And the Tommies are back within 1, 14-13. 11.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Gary dumps it off over to the left to Mims. Bounces inside to Apple. On the left wing is Apple, backing down on Bjerke. Now he gives it up top to Easley, who pulls up for 3. That hits the rim, bounces out, and is brought down by Bjerke. Now he'll outlet it to Allen, who gives it to Bjorklund. Back outside the arc to Bjerke, and now Blue has it. At 11 minutes on the dot, Bjorklund dribbles it down low and works into a block, backing down Apple once again. Spinning around in a fadeaway, right off the center square in the middle of the glass, and it drops down. And the Tommies, I believe this is their first lead of the game. 16-14, St. Thomas leads it. 10.5 minutes left to go in the first. Easily on the right side, Mims at the half-court circle, and now Gary on the left side. Driving inside on the baseline now, backing down, and he put it up. He just couldn't get enough momentum on it. It hit the rim and fell right into the arms of Allen, who has it now on the other side for St. Thomas. Inside the arc now to Bjerke. Bouncing down on Gary. 6'9" Bjerke, and it gets stripped. Mims feeds it ahead to Easley, has a lane, past Bjorklund. He almost gets it, just had a little bit too much spin on it, and now it falls down to Default, who gives it over to Bjorklund, and Blue on the right side. 10 minutes left to play here in half number 1. We've hit the halfway mark of the first half. Bjorklund spinning around, he kicks it out to Allen for 3, hits the front of the rim, and it falls down, the carom does, to Nate Barnhart. He gives it to Gary, and it finds its way to Mims. Now Barnhart on the left, hand off to Mims. Working a few feet off of the arc. Now moving from left to right on your broadcast dial, down to Apple, and they'll call it travel on the inside. Allen was signaling for it, and almost like it was mimicked. Steve Haneke says that he took one too many steps. Still a 16-14 lead for St. Thomas. 9:29 exactly left in the first half. Is now looks like they're going to go ahead and take a look at it. Standing at the monitor is Bill Jacobson, as Steve Haneke is talking with Eric Henderson. And both Chad Barlow and Jacobson are over at the replay monitor. Once again, SDSU's trailing for the first time in this game. Only by 2 points, 16-14. We just hit the halfway point. And it doesn't look like they're gonna change anything. So Brooks Allen is going to inbound it into Anthony, who will slowly dribble it up the court into the front court for the Tommies. He passes it actually across the timeline to Dobbs, who gives it over to Lee. Finds his way down to Lee on the left block, working in on Kyle the third. Spins around, put it off the glass too hard, and it falls down to Kyle the third, who then falls down to the ground, and a foul is going to be called on Johnny Lee, the sophomore forward from Byron, Minnesota. Second. So the Jackrabbits inbounded here, get it into the front court. Now Luke will hand it off to Mayo and Easley. Bounces it to Kyle the third, spinning at the free throw line. Almost lost the ball, gives it over to Apple on the right side, spinning. He almost lost the ball. Both the times they just dropped right below them and they grabbed it. The shot clock down to 5. Kyle the third backing down on the baseline. Spinning around in the lane, just a little bit too light, and it hit the front of the rim. Now Anthony pushing the pace for St. Thomas. He almost lost it, and a foul going to be called. It's now an inbound on free throw line extended from Apple. Gets it into Mayo into the front court. Over to Mims, standing. The half-court circle now down low to Easley on the perimeter. Now inside to Apple. Spinning around in the lane. He puts it up for two and gets the foul. That foul going to be on Ajani Lee. That's going to be his second and the team's third for St. Thomas. And Apple will go to the line and shoot here with 59.8% from the line. He had 2 points versus Denver, and those 2 points were at the free throw line, but he contributed in other ways, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 turnovers in the game against the Pioneers. He converts this and 1 points to the St. Thomas bench. 17-16 is the score. 8:13 left to go in the first half. Slow dribble up the court now by Allen. He dumps it off on the right side to Dobbs. He now dribbles it up towards the point, drives inside the lane. That gets swatted away by Kyle III. It goes straight into the arms of Anthony, who gave it up to Now and pulled up for 3. That went no good. And now the Jackrabbits have it on the other side, spinning inside the lane to Mayo. A kiss off the glass, and he puts it down for 2. 19-15 is the score. Now Bjorklund gets it down low on baseline to Now, who's back in the game after being shaken up just a little bit ago. Now on the right side, Allen pulls up for 3. He knocks it down, and that quiets the crowd here in Frost Arena. Near capacity crowd, if not capacity crowd here in Brookings. Excellent energy happening here today in the final men's basketball game at Frost Arena. 19-18 the score. Inside the arc at the free throw line to Apple. He loses the ball. It finds its way up to Easley and over to Mims, who puts it up for 3. 22-18 now as we tick past 7 minutes left to play in the first half. Inside the arc to Bjorklund. Gives it up top. Now down low to Now. Bjorklund loses it. He was a little bit off balance, and now a kick out to Now. Pulled up for 3, and that falls down. No good. Mims gives it to Easley on the left. Inside the arc to Apple, standing near the baseline. Pump fakes a couple of times, and now he sends it back out to Easley, who immediately sends it right back down in. Inside the lane, a fadeaway. He knocks it down. 24-18, and Luke Apple has gotten a few more points tonight than he had against Denver on Thursday. 5 to be exact, and he has 2 field goals. The crowd gets loud here. Allen off to Anthony. Cutting inside the lane at the free throw line. Now a mad scramble for the ball, and Easley comes up with it. Gives it over to Mayo inside the front court. Driving. Looks like he got a foul, and he goes down in pain, holding his ankle. Zeke Mayo's down right underneath the bench, holding his ankle. Gets helped up by Kyle III and Easley, and he's able to walk it off. That's a good sign. There's a timeout on the floor, although it looked like he just, Bjorklund, I think, ran into him on that one, causing the pain in his ankle. Timeout on the floor, as I said. We'll take it with him. 24-18, 6 minutes and 1 second left to go. You're listening to Jackrabbit Men's Basketball on KSDJ.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back in Frost, a 24-18 lead for SDSU. 6 minutes and 1 second left to go in the first half. A foul called on Ben now. 2 free throws going to be awarded. A couple of score updates for you. Just over 3 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. SDSU's women over St. Thomas, 93-55, putting up the big points there. And in Fargo, 61-54 with 7 minutes left to go in the second half. That, of course, important because SDSU is now tied with UND for the league lead. Mayo standing at the line. Taking the free throws, looks like his ankle is going to be just fine. He knocks that one down perfectly. 25-18 the score. 6:01 left on the clock. Takes the ball, spins it around, and puts up the shot. He misses that on the rim. Brought down by Anthony. The Jackrabbits currently on a 6-0 run. They've hit 4 of their last 4 shots here in this one to take that 25-18 lead. Now Anthony on the right side. He pulls up for 3. That makes it 25-21. Just like that, 5.5 minutes left to go in the first. Moores gives it to Gary on the left. Now over to Easley. And Moores back to Easley on the right. He drives the baseline. Goes around the end line, circles all the way around and completes the shot. Lays it right in for 2, 27-21. Now Blue has it for St. Thomas, gives it to Anthony, back to Blue at the point. Spinning around past the perimeter, over to Bjerke, who almost lost it out of bounds, but he controls it again, spinning around inside the lane now. Triple teamed, Kyle the third went airborne, and a foul's gonna be called on Kyle the third. Came down on him while he was trying to put up a shot. Mayo was in there. Bjerke was spinning around, and Kyle the third, thinking he was going to put the shot up, going up for it, came down on him while he was trying to put the shot up. First free throw takes a lucky bounce off the back iron and goes straight through the nylon, 27-22. Now Brooks Allen and Ryan Default come into the game for St. Thomas. Bjerke knocks down the second one, so 2 for 2 on that one. Bjerke now has 5 points. He's 2 for 2 on his first trip to the line. Kyle the third gives it to Mayo, now Gary and Easley on the left side. Moore's up on top, dribbling inside the perimeter, now gives it off to Easley, who bounces it to Mayo, and Gary pump fakes back to Mayo. Shot clock at 8. He pulls up for 3 on the right wing, knocks it down. 30-23, excuse me. 4.5 minutes left to go in this first half. They got it to Mayo on the right wing, and he put it straight through the net. Anthony dribbling it backwards near the half-court circle. Now he'll dump it off to Allen on the left. Cutting inside, over to Bjerke on the right now. Shot clock already at 10. He almost lost the ball there, spinning around on his pivot foot. Gets it outside the arc to Allen, who pulls up for a long 3. That hits the rim, falls down, and somehow St. Thomas got the offensive board, and Ryan Dufault puts it back up for 2. 30-25 the score, 5-point difference here. Mayo driving inside the lane, kicks it out to Moores. Driving now, tried to put it off the glass and was blocked at the rim. Now Blue coming back the other way, dressed in purple. Now Bjerke pulls up for 3. The big man, 6'9". The redshirt freshman puts a dagger in there, 30-28. Moores gets stuck on his pivot foot. Now he dumps it off to Easley, dribbling at the First Bank and Trust logo on the far sideline. Now down low is going to be Kyle the third, who gets stuck between Bjerke and the end line. And a foul going to be called on Bjerke. As we take a timeout here, 30-28 is the score. 3:19 left to go in the first half. We step aside. You're listening to Jackrabbit Men's Basketball on KSDJ.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
To get inside
each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
.319 left in the half, 30-28 the score. South Dakota State up on top, and North Dakota State up on top over North Dakota 62-61 with 5 minutes left in that one. Here, Zeke Mayo has 10 points. Carter Bjerke has 8 for St. Thomas. And the Jackrabbits have the 2-point lead. Now an inbound underneath the basket from SDSU. Easley tries to drive it, spins around at the free throw line. A little bit too hard, hit the back iron, and it falls straight down to Easley. He gets his own rebound. Spinning around on the Summit League logo inside the lane. He kicks it out to Gary now with a left-handed dribble down the left side of the lane. He's not able to get that to go, and now St. Thomas has the ball. 30-28 still inside. Allen gives it in to Dufault, a reverse lay-in for 2 points. They've tied it up here with 2:47 left to go in the first period. Dump off to Apple. Hands it off to Mayo. Barely inside the arc. He drives inside the lane now. Kick it out to Gary. Free stroke, and he not able to knock that one down. 2.5 minutes left to go in the first. Blue dribbling it slowly around the half-court circle. Over to Dufault on the left. Now Bjerke and Blue. Back to Bjerke, who gently hands it off to Dufault. He drives the left baseline, coming all the way out the other side. Now he'll hand it off to Blue, who was driving straight down the lane. He puts it up for 2, and the Tommies have the lead again. 30-32, or should I say 32-30, St. Thomas with that lead. Spinning in the lane is Apple, runs right into a brick wall, but he decides to put it up over Brooks Allen anyway. And now we're tied back up. $1:44 left to go in the first. Slow dribble up the court, straight down the middle from Raheem Anthony. A screen set by Bjerke. Now Anthony dumps it off to Bjerke. Left wide open for 3. He shoots it really well. He leads the team in three-point percentage, 46% to be exact. And a 30-second timeout gonna be called. Well, the final score in the women's game, 97-63. Brooklyn Meyer just went off for 26 points, shooting 11 of 12 from the floor, 4 of 5 on free throws. She had 8 rebounds, just 2 rebounds shy of a 20-point double-double. Incredible stuff from the women's team. Of course, coming up at halftime, we'll take a spin around the Summit League and let you know which games are final, which games are coming up later tonight. There is one happening at 7 o'clock. Just letting you know. So after we're done here, the Summit League slate is not done for this penultimate Saturday of the regular season. Apple set to inbound here, gets it into Mayo, who gives it right back to Apple. 1.5 minutes left to go in the first half. 35-32, St. Thomas leads it. Inside the lane is Apple. Backing his way down now, he kicks it out to Easley, pulled up for 3. That doesn't go, and a foul going to be called down on the end line on one William Kyle III. It's going to be his second. Relatively clean first half here. Only 5 team fouls for St. Thomas, now 3 for SDSU. As Blue bounces it into Anthony, he dribbles it through the backcourt with Easley shadowing him the entire way. Driving is Anthony inside the lane. The ball almost came out. A foul going to be called. Apple now on the baseline. Threw it into Easley, now Apple, now Mims, standing on the left sideline. The far sideline from how I see it here at my vantage point, right behind the scorer's table. Now Apple, inside the lane, tried to dump it down to Barnhart, and that gets stolen away by Bjorklund, and a whistle on Barnhart. Chad Barlow calling that one. Now Anthony slowly dribbles it up between his 2 hands. Bjerke sets a screen, and now Anthony. A step back 3, and he knocks that down, and they're just so good from perimeter shooting, 35.2% as a team. A strong lead ahead pass goes out of bounds on the other end, and St. Thomas is going to have the ball. Just about 3 4/10 of a second, going to separate the game clock and shot clock. So now Anthony's going to dribble it up. Blue into the front court now. As I mentioned, just a few seconds between game clock, and shot clock. Anthony dribbles with the right hand. Shot clock down to 12, now down to 10, 9, and he's just dribbling it near half court. Now with the left-handed dribble, 5, 4, 3, 2, a pump fake. Barnhart runs right into him with the chest. Chest meets shoulder, and a foul going to be on Barnhart, the 7-foot sophomore forward from Lenexa, Kansas, a transfer from Wyoming. So Anthony's going to go to the line, 4.1 seconds left on the clock. And Anthony leads the team 46% three-point shooting, but 73.2% free throw shooting. He misses the first one. 38-32 lead for the Tommies. Spins the ball around, puts it up, and he knocks down the second. Timeout called by South Dakota State. As both teams will head to their respective benches. Only a 30-second timeout. There was a little bit of confusion there from Johnny Tower. He thought it might have been a 3, but the referees called it a 2, and so he only gets to shoot 2 free throws there. 4.1 seconds left. 39-32, and a timeout called by South Dakota State to draw something up here to at least get them within 4. To get them within 5, if not 4. Both teams back out onto the court now. And Apple going to inbound it underneath the basket into Barnhart. A full court press from St. Thomas. Mayo gets fouled right before the half-court line. So that's where they'll inbound it at the half-court circle extended pretty much. Easley will bounce it in right in front of us, and he'll get it into Mims on the right for 3. Hits the rim, not able to get it to go. He got a good look, just couldn't finish on it. 39-32 is how we'll send it into halftime here in the final game ever at Frost Arena, the final home game for South Dakota State men's basketball this year. 39-32. When we come back, we'll take a look at the final numbers, and we'll also take a look around the Summit League, give you some finals, and I think the NDSU-UND game will be final by the time we get to that point, so we'll let you know what the Jackrabbits have to do to stay in first place, at least partially first place. Once again, you're listening to Jackrabbit Men's Basketball from KSDJ 90.7.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets, and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners. Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control.
Yikes!
So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Back here in Brookings, 39-32 lead for St. Thomas in the penultimate Saturday showdown of the regular season. The final Saturday men's basketball game here in Frost Arena. Actually, the final men's basketball game, period, in Frost Arena, and the Jackrabbits trail it 39-32. Let's take a trip to St. Paul real quick, where the women defeated the University of St. Thomas women's team 97-63. Brooklyn Meyer finished with 26 points, shooting 11 of 12 and 4 of 5 from the charity stripe, 8 rebounds as well. Jackrabbits had 3 different players reach over 20 points, that being Paige Meyer with 23 and Madison Mathewitz with 20. No other players, no Ellie Kolbeck finished with 11 points. So 4 players in total in double digits, 3 of them over 20 points. Up in Fargo, it's not quite done yet, but North Dakota State has a 72-68 lead with what Stats Broadcast says is 24 seconds left. We'll check in on that one and see what's going on there as well. Let me just pull it up real quick. And yes, 24.1 seconds left. 72-68 up in Fargo. We'll circle back there in a couple of minutes. Also happening around the Summit League, with 27 seconds left in the game, 76-75, Oral Roberts is currently leading South Dakota. We'll circle back on that in a couple of minutes as well, but the main one that we're focusing on is UND versus NDSU right now. Some other Jackrabbit athletic events that are happening currently as we speak. The SDSU baseball team down in Albuquerque, New Mexico, playing Game 3 of a 3-game series. Currently leading 6-3 over the New Mexico Lobos in the bottom of the 6th inning. This the tiebreaker. The series split at 1-1 previously. And currently down in Conway, Arkansas at the Michelle Short Classic, SDSU currently leading Purdue 5-2 in the bottom of the 4th in softball, as well as the men's and women's swim and dive team are over in Minneapolis at the Summit League Championships. The men's and women's indoor track and field team is up in Fargo at the Summit League Championships as well. So a lot going on here today for Jackrabbit Nation and Jackrabbit student athletes. Well, we'll go ahead and take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the first half numbers, and we will give you a final on the North Dakota State, North Dakota men's basketball game. You are listening to Jackrabbit Basketball on KSDJ 90.7.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Just texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song. I'm just...
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Time to run over the first half numbers here. 39-32, the score at halftime between St. Thomas and South Dakota State in the final game of men's basketball in Frost Arena. Starting off with St. Thomas, only one player in double digits for the Tommies. That's Carter Bjerke. He has 11 points, shooting 3 of 4 from the field. All of them have been three-pointers, actually, which is peculiar for a man who's 6'9". 2 for 2 at the charity stripe, 3 rebounds, no assists, 1 turnover, and no steals. Rest of the point totals for St. Thomas. Raheem Anthony has 9 points. Then we have Parker Bjorkwin, Kendall Blue, and Ryan Dufault, all with 4 points. Brooks Allen with 3, and Drake Dobbs with 2. As a team, they're shooting 51.9%. 6 of 13 from long range for 46.2%, and 5 of 6 on charity stripe heaves. As a team, they have 16 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 turnovers, and 4 steals. Looking at South Dakota State, only one man in double digits as well. Zeke Mayo, 10 points for him, 4 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from long range, 1 of 2 at the free throw line. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, no steals, no blocks. Other point totals, Luke Apple, Matt Mims, 2 seniors today, both having 7 points. Charlie Easley, the other senior, 5 points, and Matthew Moores with 3. As a team, they're shooting 50%, 12 of 24 from the field, 4 of 10 on 3-pointers, and 4 of 5 on free throws. 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 turnovers, and 2 steals as well for South Dakota State. The biggest lead for SDSU was 7 points. That came at the 17-15 mark of the first half. The best scoring run was St. Thomas, a 9-0 scoring run to kind of put them up where they are around about now with the 7-point lead. 3 lead changes, 2 ties, and SDSU's had the lead for 13 minutes and 59 seconds. 14 paint points for both teams, and at halftime, 39-32 in front of an announced attendance of 3,136 people here in Frost Arena. Just over half a minute left to go until we get things started here. Once again, the women taking care of business over in St. Paul, 97-63. 3 players for the women's basketball team that's scoring in 20 or more points, and we do have a final. North Dakota State beats North Dakota 73-68 in Fargo. Coming into today, there was a scenario where about 4 teams could get the number 1 seed. Currently, as we sit right now, South Dakota State is alone at the top of the Summit League. We still have another half of basketball to play to see where we figure out. But right now it lines up South Dakota State in first at 9-4, North Dakota at 9-5, a half game behind South Dakota State, and North Dakota State in third at 8-6, 1.5 games behind South Dakota State. And then we have, of course, St. Thomas and Kansas City. Kansas City, who of which will be playing in Kansas City against Omaha later on tonight. But here we have it in the second half here. Dobbs inbounds it into Allen. And starting off with both starting lineups, again for both teams, Kendall Blue, Brooks Allen, Parker Bjorklund, Drake Dobbs, and Raheem Anthony for St. Thomas, who has the basketball here early in the second half. Again, a 39-32 lead. Inside the arc is Allen. He gives it out to Anthony. The shot clock at 10 already. He tries to drive inside past Apple. He kicks it out to Blue now, and Anthony will drive inside, step back. He tried to put it up right at the end of the shot clock. It hits the backboard, but falls down to Mayo. Mayo will give it over to Easley, and it's going to be Mims, Mayo, Apple, Easley, and Kyle the third for SDSU. Apple inside the lane, jumps and rifles it to Easley. He gives it up top to Mims, and now on the left, Apple again, driving on the baseline, putting up just an arc over the basket, and it gets brought down. The rebound does by Brooks Allen. No score yet here in the second half. 39-32. Spinning around. Parker Bjorklund. Now Dobbs inside the lane. Mims put his hand straight up to try and block it. A whistle going to be called down in the lane. And the foul going to be on Mims. 2 foul shots are going to be taken. And Mims gets his first foul of the day. First foul for SDSU of the second half. Dobbs knocks that one through, leads the team 88.9% free throw shooting, a transfer from Liberty, but a native of Eden Prairie right there in the Twin Cities. And now he knocks down the second one, 41-32. St. Thomas has stretched their lead to 9. A slow dribble up the far sideline by Mims. He sends it over to Apple at the midcourt circle. Now Easley on the left. He drives inside the lane, bounces it to Kyle the third. He's getting triple teamed down there, and he's in trouble. He tries to put it up and gets. There's going to be a whistle down low, and a foul going to be on Bjorklund in there, the native of Chaska, Minnesota. And what a great story Bjorklund is, you know. In other circumstances, and this is a quote from his head coach, Johnny Tower, he doesn't play a second of college basketball in another circumstance, but he's been the one that's led them through this transition from D3 to D1, and they're doing a heck of a job here. Kyle the third puts up the shot, and he misses it. Misses the first one. This is only trip to the line so far. Looks like Luke Apple's got some blood on him. He's trying to get it taken care of here, as both teams are going to be able to go off. Excuse me, both teams are going to stay out there. Kyle the third still standing at the free throw line. They're going to go ahead and tape up Apple's finger. As Matthew Moores is going to go ahead and come into the game so they can get it going. And Apple's going to take a seat while they figure it out. So Kyle the third, he missed the first free throw here. He's going to have another one, and he bounces it once. Takes the shot. It bounces on the front of the rim, the back of the rim, and then down through the hoop. 41-33, St. Thomas still leads it. 18.5 minutes left to go in this game. Now Allen gets it over to Anthony, bounces it into Bjorklund. Inside the arc now, dribbling with the right hand. He moves into the wing. Portion of it bounces, backs down. Kyle the third, and a travel is going to be called on him. And now Moores will inbound it into Easley. 18-18 on the clock in the second, still 41-33. Just 1 point scored by SDSU so far here in the second half. Mayo loses the ball inside the lane. It gets its way up to Easley. He drives in, puts the basket in, and a foul is going to be called on Easley, so the basket's not going to count. And it's going to be Easley's first, the team's second of the second half. And Allen's going to be able to inbound it in for the Tommies here. He drove straight through Dobbs, trying to put it up, and thought maybe he could get the foul call on Dobbs, but instead it got called on him. Allen dumps it off on the right to Blue, spinning inside the wing, now inside the lane. He misses it, it hits off the back iron, and falls down to Kyle III, rips it away from Bjorklund and outlets it now to Zeke Mayo. With a right-hand dribble, he sends it over up top to Easley. Now Mims on the right side. Pump fakes it, drive. Now he bounces it into Kyle III. Double team there. Now cutting back door is Matthew Moores. He lays it in on the reverse layup. Down for two, 41-35. Moores now has 5 points, and the crowd of over 3,000 gets loud here in Frost Arena. Anthony, step back three, and misses. Back irons off. The rebound falls down to Mayo. He's pushing the pace for the Jackrabbits. Coming up the floor, he falls down, and a turnover from the Jackrabbits. Coming back the other way is Anthony, dumps it off to Bjorklund. He puts it through the hoop for two. 43-35. As Mayo limping over to the bench, and Kalen Gary's going to come in for him. Not quite sure what happened. He's in a little bit of pain on the bench. We'll update as soon as we can. Gary bouncing between the legs, now dribbling up the court and finally gets it across the timeline. He bounces it to Moores, shadowing on the left side of the point. Now back to Easley, right at the point. Spinning around, he puts it up for two and gets the foul. Give the hoop and the harm to Easley. Down low as Apple will now come in, has his finger all taped up nice. Some black tape. 43-37 is the score. Easley. The and one free throw is good. It's the three-point play. And the crowd of over 3,000 once again rises to the occasion. Dobbs gets the handoff from Allen, back to Allen, now on the right side. Bjorklund up top, now to Allen. He dumps it off, almost loses the ball, back to Bjorklund. At the point, over to Anthony on the right wing. Outside the perimeter, now inside the perimeter to Allen. A whistle, no, excuse me, Bjorklund, and a whistle called. And that's going to be on Kalen Gary. Is going to be his first, the third for South Dakota State, as Ben Now and Carter Bjerke will come into the game for St. Thomas. Mims gets a steal off of the inbound, but now will take it right back. He drives down the left side of the lane, kicks it up to Bjerke. Now on the right wing, inside the arc, now to Anthony. Backing down on Gary. He pump fakes a couple shots, spins around, puts it up hard, but not hard enough. It spins around the rim and falls down through the nylon. As Easley will dribble it up the court into the front court now. 15:45 on the clock, 46-38 the score. Kyle III on the left block by Bjerke. He bounces it down inside the lane, spinning around, a right-handed lay-in for two. 45-40, the Jackrabbits are back within 5 now. 15 and a half minutes left to go in the second period. Anthony dumps it off on the left to Allen, up top to Bjerke, and now down low to Allen. Apple came down hard on him, and a whistle down low. And the foul indeed will be on Luke Apple. And there's a timeout on the floor. 45-40, 15-18 left on the clock in the second half. And you're listening to Jackrabbit Basketball on KSDJ 90.7.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside.
Each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Back in Brookings, 45-40 lead for St. Thomas here. 15-18 left to go in the second period. St. Thomas in their away purple uniforms. The Jackrabbits in their home whites with blue and yellow trim. St. Thomas has the gray and white trim. As Brooks Allen is going to be at the line, shooting 2 after the foul on Apple. Zeke Mayo still on the bench. Looks like he's walking around okay. He's not getting any immediate attention, maybe just letting him rest a little bit as Allen makes the first one to put him up 46-40. And he makes the second one. Talking around, it looked like he just slid into the boards down underneath the basket as Apple loses the ball, and it's in between the legs of Dobbs, and the tie-up going to be called a jump ball by Bill Jacobson, one of the 3 referees today. We're going to inbound it side out. Right in front of us, Easley, who has a smattering of blood on the back of his jersey. Gets it into Mims, now back to Easley on the left. Spinning around, Gary tried to drive on the baseline, gets denied. Now he'll send it down to Kyle III, who can't catch it cleanly. He spins around, and they're just double teaming him, triple teaming him every time he gets the ball down there. He loses it now. Dobbs on the other end. Allen on the right wing, guarded by Gary. Now drives inside and cross-court pass to Dobbs. He dribbles it back out beyond the perimeter. He drives the baseline, tried to put it up. That's no good, and it's brought down by Mims. Mims, a feet-ahead pass to Easley, pulls up for 3. That one falls down to Anthony. He's pushing the pace. He bounces it to Dobbs, back down to Anthony on the right baseline. He decides to dribble it outside the perimeter now. Between the legs. Looks like Zeke Mayo is waiting in the wings to come in. Now he's driving on inside the lane. He puts up the basket and gets the foul. He's fired up. And the foul is going to be on Kyle III. And that's going to be the 3rd foul for Will. So Mayo's back in the game. Going to small ball here without a big man in the game currently. Free throws missed by Anthony. The and 1 free throws missed by Anthony now. An outlet to Mayo, who dribbles it up the near sideline. Dumps it off to Apple. Driving in the left lane. He gets that to go, and he gets the foul. The foul is on Bjerke. It's only his second. Kendall Blue coming in for St. Thomas, as Apple's going to be shooting the and one free throw now. On the opposite end is bright yellow shoes matching well with the yellow trim on the Jackrabbits home uniforms. And he knocks that down, gets them back within 6, 49-43. St. Thomas still leads it. Now in the backcourt, Dufault almost loses it, finds a way to get it to his teammate Blue. Now driving hard and a kick out on the right to Lee. Lee will give it back to Blue. Right wing still outside the perimeter, cutting inside the lane at the free throw line. Now it's tapped away, easily has it. Running fast, bouncing, he puts it up and in, and gets the foul, the hoop and the harm for Charlie Easley, going coast to coast off the turnover. (49-45), and Easley has a chance to put up 3 points on a single play. Here for SDSU, Easley has 10 points now. At halftime, only one Jackrabbit had 10 points. Now we have 3 of them, and they all have 10 points exactly. Easley trying to make it 11 here. And he knocks it down. 49-46 now, 13 and a half minutes left to go in the second half. Apple on the other end trying to hype up the crowd, and Easley steals it away again, gives it to Mims. He puts it up, and he gets the foul as well. Out of the 3,136 people in here, there's not a soul still seated. The foul going to be on Dufault. His first, and Mims for the tie. And he misses it. It's tapped out by Gary and brought down by Mims. He gets the rebound there. And they get a chance to do more than just tie it up. Mayo working on the left baseline. Nice dribble move now inside the lane. He stops, puts it up for 2, and the Jackrabbits have the lead again. 50-49, and the crowd of 3,000 strong is making it hard to hear in here. Blue spinning around in the backcourt, and a foul going to be called on Easley. Say put an arm into Blue. And St. Thomas going to inbound it side out right in front of us. Jackrabbits currently on a 10-0 run to come back and take the lead here with just under 13 minutes left to go in the second period. Back-to-back and one opportunities. The first one was converted by Apple. The second one by Mims wasn't. Driving to the rim was Dobbs. And a foul was called on his way down there. And it's going to be on Mims. It's going to be only his second, but the team's 7th. (50-49), a 1-point lead for South Dakota State. Dobbs will be at the line, not the league leader, but the team leader in free throws, and he knocks it down no problem. The second one is good as well. So 2 for 2 on that one. Was honestly a non-factor in the game against North Dakota State on Thursday. Easley at the point now, coming around to curl. Now cutting inside the lane, gets it outside the perimeter to Mayo. Gary on the left side bounces it inside to Apple. Now in the lane, he gets tripped up. That's a foul on Anthony, who is the one that tripped him up. That's going to be his first personal foul. St. Thomas's 6th. Mayo gets it into Apple. Nice lob in now inside the lane, spinning around, and another whistle. And Apple will get called for the foul on that one. 51-50, St. Thomas has the lead back now. 12.5 minutes left to go in the second half. Dobbs dribbling up the near sideline now. He stops inside the perimeter, gives it over to Allen. Now on the left baseline is Blue, Bjorklund on the right, and now Anthony cutting inside. Finds its way all the way down to Blue on the right baseline for three. That hit the iron. Karam falls down to Mayo. The right-handed dribble. Now staying at the point, he rises for three and hits. (53-51), the Jackrabbits have the lead again, now under 12 minutes left to play here in the second half. Dobbs gets it over to Allen, dribbling up to the point. He hands it off to Blue at that point, and the pass gets swatted away by Mims and brought down by Easley. Gives the outlet pass to Zeke Mayo. Dribbling near the Jackrabbit script on the far sideline, now up to half-court circle. He stops, turns, and reverses it back over to Gary, who drives inside the lane, spinning around on the left lane, up top to Easley right at half court, and drives inside. He gets tripped up. He's on the ground. No whistle yet. And a whistle going to be blown. I think he got the timeout, as both teams will head to their respective benches. I believe they got the timeout called. And we'll go ahead and take it with them. 53-51, 11:17 on the clock. The Jackrabbits have the lead again. You're listening to Jackrabbit Men's Basketball on KSDJ 90.7.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
(53-51), the inbound gets into Kyle III, spinning around in the lane, and he puts it up and in with 1 second left on the shot clock. 55-51, South Dakota State has the lead again. An electric couple of minutes, a 10-0 run to bring the Jackrabbits back into this one. Dobbs on the right side of the lane. He gets it up to Bjorklund at the top. Now he's backing down on Kyle III. He bounces it to Dobbs on the right wing, who moves down to the baseline and tries to drive inside. Dumps it off to Bjorklund, spinning in the lane. 5-4 on the shot clock. The ball gets tapped out of bounds and says it goes off of Bjorklund. Jackrabbit ball coming back the other way. And we'll step aside once again. 55-51, 10:42 left to go in the second half. You're listening to Jackrabbit Basketball on KSDJ.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that catch-up.
Ugh.
Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
$55-51, the Jackrabbits leading the Tommies. 10:42 left to go in the second half. Glad to have you along with us here. Braden Byers, sports director for KSDJ here. Would say courtside, but I'm not technically courtside. Scores table separating me and the court, but I'm right here. I'm right here. 4-point lead for the Jacks as Charlie Easley will dribble up the near side, hand it off to Mayo. Slowly tries to get back to the perimeter. Inside, down low, now on the left block to Kyle III. Rifles up top as Gary rises for three and hits. $58-51, 10-15 left to go in the second half. Blue has it for St. Thomas, dribbling with the right hand. He'll come around in the wing and bounce it out to Anthony. Crowd wants to travel. Anthony gets it to Bjorklund, now Dobbs back to Bjorklund on the left. He takes a three shot. He misses the basket entirely. Anthony gets the rebound, puts it back up, and finally Gary brings it down for the yellow and blue. He outlets it now to Easley on the far sideline. Allen came behind him and tried to knock it out. He gets it over to Gary and back over to Easley on the right side. Now with the left-handed dribble at the point, in between his legs, and now he kicks out to Gary. Mayo on the left, cutting inside, now inside the lane. He stops, and they're going to tie it up on the inside. It's Ryan Dufault and Ben Now will come into the game.
Also number 35, Carter Bierke.
As well as Carter Bierke for St. Thomas. Anthony slow dribble up into the front court, finally crosses the timeline. He gets past Kyle III, and a crowd wants another travel there. Anthony standing with the ball on the right wing. He drives through the wing, stopping at the left side of the lane, and he tried to bounce it inside to Dufault. Dufault fell down, and the ball goes out of bounds by the South Dakota State dance team on the far side. Now Gary gets it into Easley, 58-51, close to 9 minutes left to go in the third to last game of the Summit League season. Kyle III down low, had it poked out by Now. He loses the ball now. Easley picks it up, scoops it into the basket, and the Jackrabbits have a 9-point lead now, 60-51. 8:45 left on the clock, and now Anthony dribbling the ball. He gets it over on the right side to Dufault as Bjorkley, rises for three and hits on the left baseline to cut the lead to 60-54. Gary into Easley. Pseudo full court press. They're not pressing too hard, but Anthony's shadowing Gary as he comes up, and now is shadowing Easley as he drives inside. He misses that one, and it's brought down by Blue. Coming back the other way, left to right as we see it on our broadcast dial. Now up top. Over to Anthony on the right. Bjorkley and Anthony again at the point. Spinning around, running behind a screen. Continuously set by Bjorkley, and now Dufault dribbles it out to half court. 8 seconds on the shot clock. He drives inside, lane left, and he scoops it right in through the nylon for two more, and now they're back within 4, 60-56. Long lead ahead pass to Mayo. He drives inside. Blue gets a hand in there. A whistle's going to be called. And a foul is going to be on Kendall Blue, the sophomore guard from Woodbury, Minnesota. There's a timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them. 60-56 is the score. 7:43 left to go in the second half. You're listening to Jackrabbit men's basketball on KSDJ 90.7.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today.
$60 to 56 the score. As you hear the SDSU Pep Band playing the school song in the background here, 7:43 left to go in the second half. And Zeke Mayo is going to shoot 2 free throws for the Jacks, looking to extend their lead after a foul was called on Kendall Blue. Down low to the left of us. Mayo, here's the first, and knocks it down. 84.4% on the year. He approaches the line and takes a deep breath again and puts it up and through. 62 to 56 now. Driving hard past the timeline is Dufault. Dumps it off to Bjerkli. Hands it off back to Dufault behind him. Now down low on the right baseline is Anthony, trying to work himself in past Gary. Gary holds strong, spinning around, dumps it off across the lane to Dufault, who puts it up for 2. A slow dribble now up the court, 62 to 53 the score. Mayo bouncing, dribbling with the right hand, barking orders to his team. He bounces it to Apple on the right side now. He moves in and falls on the ground. And another tie-up going to be underneath the basket to the left of us.
Entering the game, number 4, Brooks Allen.
So Brooks Allen will come into the game again for St. Thomas. 11 seconds on the shot clock for South Dakota State when they inbound it. 6:53 on the clock here. Just under 7 minutes left to play in the second half. Mayo inbounds it into Apple. Another handoff to Mayo, now outside on the right wing. 5-4 on the shot clock. He goes in and just scoops it right into the hoop. 64 to 53. Allen gives it over to Now, who then gives it to Dufault. Finds its way back to Allen and Dufault on the left side, back to Allen at the point. Driving, stopping, he kicks it out to Bjerkli. Backing down Kyle the third inside the lane, puts up the shot, it bounces on the back iron, then the side iron, and circles its way down the hoop. Still a 4-point lead, 64 to 60 here in Frost Arena. Kyle the third gets double teamed down low, sends it back door to Apple. The ball gets slapped down, and foul's going to be on Anthony down low.
18 fouls.
It's going to be Anthony's second, the 8th for St. Thomas. As Apple's going to shoot 2 free throws here. Apple 10 points today after the 2-point showing on Thursday. As I mentioned, he did help in other ways, but not on the scoreboard. Tonight he's doing that. First one hits the front, skips itself in. As Charlie Easley will come in for the Jacks, Drake Dobbs for the Tommies, as well as Kendall Blue for the Tommies. Apple will stand at the line again, the senior from Marshalltown, Iowa. And he misses the second one. It bounces off the rim, falls down to Blue, who will now give it in an outlet pass to Dobbs. Allen standing on the right, now he'll give it to Bjerke. And Blue back to Dobbs at the top. Bjerke on the right wing. He hands it off to Anthony in the same spot. Now driving and cutting in. He lost the basketball behind him. Gives it to Bjerke inside the arc. Now back out to Anthony on the right. 5-4 on the shot clock. Bouncing it down on the right side of the lane. A block by Mayo. He somehow got it and a whistle on the end line. They say Gary went out while he still had possession of the basketball. He saved it from going out and gave it over to Mayo. So down low, Anthony was working low on Mayo. So we're going to reset the shot clock to 1 second. Blue looking to get it in, gets it to Dobbs. He gets it off in time, and he knocks it down for 3 more points, 65-63, and St. Thomas is not going away. 5:18 on the clock in the second half. Apple gets it across the timeline. Now at the point, he stops and hands it off to Gary at the same spot. Now inside the arc, gets it off to Kyle III. Now back to Mayo at the top. Step back, pump fake and a 3. He knocks it down. A primal scream coming back the other way. 68-63 as we enter into the final 5 minutes of men's basketball at Frost Arena. Kendall Blue rises for 3. He misses that, hit the rim, and easily brings it down, cradling it like a baby. He gives it off to Mayo as he dribbles it across the half-court line. A left-handed dribble for Mayo. Now he switches hands as he backs down on Dobbs, and a foul going to be called on one Dobbs. Drake Dobbs, the senior from Eden Prairie, Minnesota.
Substitution number 5, Parker Gilpin, on the line for the Jackrabbits, number 2.
And Mayo is going to go ahead and stand at the line. Ben now coming in, a late substitution for the Tommies. Mayo takes a deep breath and bounces the ball a couple of times. The first. And he knocks it down. Front end of a 1-1 gives him a 69-63 lead. And he misses the second. So it remains at 69-63. As Anthony dribbles it across half court. 4.5 minutes left to go in the second half. Allen standing on the right wing, gets it behind him to Dobbs. Dobbs standing up top, he pump faked it, now gives it back to Allen. He's spinning around on the free throw line. He puts it up, it goes around the edge of the rim and falls out right into the arms of Luke Apple. He gets it over to Easley and a slower dribble up the far sideline. Within 4 minutes to play now, here in this one, still 69-63. Gary gives it over to Easley at the half-court logo. Now dribbling between his two hands over to Gary on the left. A double screen set by Kyle III and Mayo. Gary from the point gets it over to Mayo for 3. He hits the rim. He somehow saved it from going out of bounds, and they'll call an over and back. Both teams are upset. Johnny Tower wanted him to be called out of bounds there. Then an over and back called by Mayo, and Mayo and Apple just can't believe it. There's a timeout on the floor, 69-63 is the score. 3:37 left to go in the second period. And we'll step aside. You're listening to Jackrabbit Men's Basketball on KSDJ 90.7.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
(69-63). We have just over 3.5 minutes left to go of men's basketball in the history of Frost Arena. And the Jackrabbits lead it right now, 69-63 over the St. Thomas Tommies. Allen bounces it in past Apple into Dobbs. He has it for St. Thomas. Allen at the point now. He gets it over on the right to Anthony. He dribbles backwards, resets, and takes a running start at it. He cut inside now, gives out to Bjorklund. He rises for three. He's off the mark, and it's brought down by Zeke Mayo. Bjorklund been sort of a non-factor today. 6 points for him only, shooting 2 of 4 from the field. Mayo now down the lane. He gets it out. Gary rises for three. That's back ironed off and brought down by Now. 3 minutes left to go to play in regulation. I should add that caveat here. It is close enough in regulation here in Brookings. Now rises and pulls up for three. That's not good. And now the Jackrabbits will have a chance to waste some of the time here. Mayo gets it across half court to Apple. Spinning around Apple, and he hands off to Easley. Both Apple and Easley, as well as Matt Mims, playing in their final game in Frost Arena. Gary dribbling with the right hand. Shot clock at 6. Easley up at the point. 4, 3. He rises. He hits it for 3. 72-63. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and review that one, sending the teams to their respective benches, and they're going to go ahead and look at it to see if it's a 2 or a 3. So they're going to go ahead and change it to a 2. Change that to 71-63.
Once again, Jack fans, here's up. Go Blue!
So now Allen to inbound it for St. Thomas. Gets it into Dobbs. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in regulation here. A 71-63 lead for South Dakota State. Anthony gets it to Dobbs, over to Blue on the left side. Bounces it to Bjerke, straddling the perimeter, and now gets it to Dobbs on the left side. Bouncing the basketball between his legs, shot clock at 8. He's driving inside the lane. He pops and puts it up and down for 2 more, 71-65, as St. Thomas is going to call a timeout here. It's only a 30. So we'll keep it right here. $1:53 left on the clock in the second half, 71-65. Zeke Mayo having an incredible game tonight. 23 points for him, 8 of 10 shooting, 5 rebounds, but he has 5 turnovers. Luke Apple has 4 turnovers. He has 11 points. Easily has 15 points. So 3 Jackrabbits right now with double figures. On the other side, Drake Dobbs, he has 11. Raheem Anthony has 13. Those are the only 2. No, excuse me. And then we have Carter Bjerke. He has a team high for them, but Zeke Mayo with the game high 23 points right now on 8 of 10 shooting. And Luke Apple, who has 11 points, he's going to get it in for the Jackrabbits, moving a couple of feet to his right on the end line. Now easily in the backcourt. He drives it hard forward, gets it off to Apple, and over to Mims, standing near the half-court line. Bouncing, and it's one-on-one with Allen. Shot clock at 8, a minute and a half left to go in the second half. Dribbling near the half court, rises for 3. Mayo almost hits it. It hits the rim, and it falls down. As Brooks Allen will get called.
Shooting 2, number 1, Matt Mims.
So now Mims is gonna shoot 2 here. Makes the first one. Bjerke and Blue coming in for St. Thomas. $1:20 left to go in the second half. 72-65 is the score. Matt Mims at the free throw line for his second. And he makes it. Mims now has 11. Coming back now, Allen stops, gives it over to Dobbs on the left. He pulls up for a long 3, and he hits it no problem. 73-68, and the Tommies aren't going away quite yet.
Substitution number 12, Ryan Default. And number 5, Parker Jones.
Just a 30, we'll keep it here. Both teams standing up, getting instructions from their respective coaches. Eric Henderson for South Dakota State, Johnny Tower for St. Thomas. And the crowd of all over 3,136 stands and claps along to the school song. The final 65 seconds of men's basketball in Frost Arena, a historic building, been home to Jackrabbit basketball for 52 years. And the Jackrabbits currently have a lead, 73-68. Apple moving across the end line, calls a timeout, didn't have a situation where he thought he would be good to get the ball into it, so another timeout for South Dakota State. And again, just a 30, so we will keep it here. No time ran off the clock, no points changed, 73-68. Jackrabbits shooting almost 60% from the field, 26 of 44. Dead even on three-pointers are both these teams, although St. Thomas has taken a few more. 9 of 22 for the Tommies, 7 of 17 for the Jackrabbits. A lot more free throws shot by South Dakota State, 14 of 19 for 74%. 15 turnovers for SDSU. So Apple's gonna try and inbound it again this time. Moves across, he gets it. Over to Mims, full court pressure, he's stuck back there, gets it up top to Gary, and a foul gonna be called near half court. And it's going to be on Anthony. His third foul.
Number 10, Kalen Gary.
As Kalen Gary's going to go to the line. A redshirt freshman from De Smet, not too far from here. The first one from Gary is good. Blue and Bjorky coming in again for Bjorkland and Dufault. And Gary standing at the line again, exactly 60 seconds left. And that misses that one. That was a good shot, though. 74-63 is the score. South Dakota State on top over St. Thomas. Kendall Blue gives it over to Dobbs on the right for three. No good, but the rebound falls down to Allen. He's spinning on the left block, and he finds a way to get that to bounce in. Gary now looking to inbound. A high inbound into Mayo. Cross-court pass to Mims on the near sideline and over to Gary. Finally over to Mims across half court and now to Mayo. Just half a minute left to go in the second half. Easily on the right side, tries to drive past Blue, and a foul going to be called on Kendall Blue. 28.5 seconds left to go on the game clock, 15 seconds on that shot clock, but that's not going to matter because free throws are coming from Charlie Easley. Leads the team, 88.7%. A 5-point lead for SDSU here, 75-70. Again, 28.5 seconds left to go in the game. And the second from Easley is good. 6-point game now, 76-70. Shot clock is turned off, 25 seconds for St. Thomas. Anthony, pump fakes. He throws it up. The rebound's going to fall down to Gary. He rips the ball away. And a whistle down low is going to result in another foul on Raheem Anthony. So back the other way, the court to our left. So Anthony Gary knocks that one down, makes it a 7-point game, 77-70. The Jackrabbits are pulling away here a little bit late. And second one's missed, back iron by Gary. Now down to 12 seconds. Dobbs left wide open through the lane. Timeout called by Tower. As Dufault and Bjorklund will come in for St. Thomas on the offensive attack. Oh, excuse me, the defensive attack. 11.3 left on the clock. 77-72, South Dakota State lead over St. Thomas. If they win this game, they are in first place outright after the loss to NDSU earlier today by UND. As I mentioned, an excellent game from Zeke Mayo, 23 points, 17 from Charlie Easley, one of the seniors, playing in their final game in Brookings. Matt Mims and Luke Apple, the other two seniors, reaching double digits here today on senior day. So 11.3 left on the clock. Again, 77-72 the score. And Apple set to inbound it. runs the length of the baseline, gets it into Easley. Now Mims, cross court into the front court by Mayo. They'll slow up 2-1, and the Jackrabbits get the 77-72 win on Senior Day, the final home game of this season and the final men's basketball game in Frost Arena. Two teams shake hands in front of us, a handshake line. The teammates congratulating them, their other teammates as well. Once again, a 77-72 win for South Dakota State, and they stay at the top of the Summit League standings at 10-5 in Summit League play. We'll go ahead and step aside when we come back, take a look at the final numbers, other scores from around the Summit League, take another look at the standings, and get you set up for what will be the final week of Summit League men's basketball in the regular season. Once again, 77-72 as the Jackrabbits and the seniors specifically say goodbye to Frost Arena. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester,
Hey,
and the
wouldn't
Ad
it be
Council.
great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Just texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
77-72 win for South Dakota State over St. Thomas on Senior Day, the final home game of this 2023-24 season, as well as the final men's basketball game in the history of Frost Arena. Final numbers here for you. Let's go ahead and take a look, starting with St. Thomas. Tie for leading scorer for the Tommies, 16 points for both Drake Dobbs and Carter Bjerke. Let's start with Dobbs, 5 of 11, shooting 2 of 5 from long range, 4 of 4 on free throws. He had 1 block assist. And Carter Bjerke had 16 points, 5 of 6, shooting 4 of 5 on three-pointers, 2 of 2 on free throws, 3 rebounds, 1 turnover. Looking at the other player that scored in double digits, Raheem Anthony finished with 13, 5 of 11, shooting 2 of 4 on three-pointers and 1 of 3 on free throws. 6 rebounds for him, 4 assists, 5 turnovers, and 3 steals. As a team, the Tommies shot 49.1%, 9 of 24 from beyond the perimeter, 11 of 13 on the charity stripe. They finished with 27 rebounds, 11 assists, 13 turnovers, and 9 steals. Other point scorers for the Tommies as well. Ryan Dufault finished with 8, Brooks Allen with 7, Parker Bjorklund 6, Kendall Blue with 4, and Johnny Lee finished with 2. For South Dakota State, the leading scorer and game-high leading scorer, Zeke Mayo, he had an incredible game, 23 points, 8 of 11 shooting, 3 of 6 on three-pointers, and 4 of 6 on free throws. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 turnovers, and 1 blocked shot. Behind him was Charlie Easley, one of the 3 seniors that got honored here today and got their final win in their final game at Frost Arena. 17 points for him, 6 of 12 shooting, 1 of 4 on three-pointers, and 4 of 4 on the charity stripe. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, and 4 steals. Other 2 seniors also scored in double figures, 11 points for each. Luke Apple had 4 of 5 shooting, 3 of 4 on foul shots, 2 rebounds, and 4 turnovers for him. Matt Mims finished 3 of 4, 1 of 2, and 4 of 5 from the line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and 3 steals. As a team, the Jackrabbits shot 59.1%, 7 for 17 on three-pointers, and 18 of 25 on free throws. They finished with 25 rebounds, 11 assists, 15 turnovers, and 8 steals. There were 6 lead changes, 3 ties. At halftime, it was 39-32, and a final score 77 to 72 in this one. Time to take a look now at other stuff happening around the Jackrabbit Athletic Department today. Finals in all 3 that I can for sure update you on. The South Dakota State women's basketball team over in St. Paul taking care of business over the Tommies women's basketball team, 97-63. The final score in that one, Brooklyn Myers scoring 26 points, shooting 11 of 12 en route to that 97-63 win. Also, South Dakota State baseball dropped their final game in a 3-game set against New Mexico down in Albuquerque. 9-8, the Lobos beat the Jackrabbits down there, and they will finally make the return trip to South Dakota, as they've been staying in New Mexico all week, and go to wherever their next destination is. SDSU's softball is down in Conway, Arkansas, and a final score here. They beat Purdue 7-6 in their game today in the Michelle Short Memorial Classic. And I can't really update things about the swimming and diving teams and the track and field teams, but do know that they are competing today in Minneapolis. The swimming and diving teams are at the Summit League Championships. The Summit League Indoor Championships also happening for indoor track and field in Fargo today. Other games from around the Summit League, 77-76 win for USD over Oral Roberts. That will move nothing but get them within half a game of Oral Roberts of potentially getting the number 8 seed instead of the number 9 seed in the Summit League tournament. And the biggest result of the day by far, and will probably be, even though there is a game later on tonight, which is, by the way, Omaha and Kansas City in Kansas City at 7 p.m. North Dakota State defeating North Dakota 73-68 up in Fargo, dropping UND now to second place and propelling South Dakota State up into first place. So now, currently, as we sit, the Jackrabbits are 10-4, a full game ahead of North Dakota. The Fighting Hawks sitting at 9-5 in second. As I mentioned, a game behind the Jackrabbits. North Dakota State in third, 2 games behind the Jackrabbits at 8-6. Kansas City at 7-6 will be 2.5 games behind North Dakota State, and Omaha is 7-7, 3 games behind first place. So that matchup later on tonight can determine some of the middle of the pack seeding. Currently, half a game behind Kansas City is Omaha. Then we have Denver at 6-8, Oral Roberts at 5-10, and South Dakota at 4-10. So that's how the Summit League standings shake out. St. Thomas drops to 7-7 in league play. South Dakota State advances to 10-4 in the league play. The Tommies will now be back in the Twin Cities for 2 more games to round out the regular season against Omaha and Denver. As I mentioned, Omaha sitting at 7-7. They have their game against Kansas City tonight. Denver at 6-8 on the season. For South Dakota State, they will round out the regular season against the North Dakota schools, taking on UND in Grand Forks and North Dakota State in Fargo next week. And that UND game could be huge as we head down the stretch of this Summit League season, heading towards the Summit League tournament. We will have the Summit League tournament for you right here on KSDJ 90.7. Not sure when they're going to be playing, what time they're going to be playing. Stay tuned to our social medias to figure that out, and we will announce it as soon as we know as well. But the next games that are going to be happening on the airwaves for KSDJ 90.7 will be the conclusion of the women's basketball's season. We will have both North Dakota and North Dakota State games next week here on KSDJ from Frost Arena, the final 2 women's basketball games taking place, and actually the final 2 competitions taking place in Frost Arena as we, again, make that transition to First Bank and Trust Arena. But North Dakota going to be at 7 p.m. on Thursday, which is Leap Day. Pregame starting at about 6:45 for that one, 7 p.m. tip-off right here on KSDJ. And then Saturday going to be a 1:45 pregame and 2 p.m. tip-off, just as it was today, versus North Dakota State. And that will be senior day for the Jackrabbit women. But once again, a final score, 77-72. Want to thank everybody for making this thing possible, starting at the top with our faculty advisors, Jim Helland and Brian Stemweddle. For all of us here at KSDJ, want to thank you for tuning in. And once again, a final score, 77-72. We will be back on Thursday for Jackrabbit women's basketball against the University of North Dakota.